welcome to JDC West 2019 Entrepreneurship case presentation. Competitors will have 5 minutes of protected time. Immediately following the 5 minutes, there will be slap on the table to indicate 15 minutes of unprotected time, where the judges can ask any questions. Lastly, the presentation will conclude after a 3-minute protected time. The presentation will total to be 23 minutes. The volunteer timekeeper will show time cards at various intervals to indicate remaining time, and will stop any speaker who exceeds the maximum time limit. No questions, comments, cell phones, or picture taking except the individual who has a media pass will be permitted from the audience at any time. The audience will only be permitted to applaud after the presentation is over. The audience is banned from any materials that bear the name or symbol of a competing university. We ask that the audience and delegates exit the room immediately following the presentation. Competitors, the timekeeper will let you know when you can begin the presentation.
I want to welcome the judges and audience for our presentation. On my left is Eric and Deborah, and we are Fluid Construction. So, let me begin our story from the vision of John. John is a middle-aged man. He's a contractor down in Langley, and he's working on a construction project for a townhouse area. Currently, the entire project is delayed right now, and because of the construction, the whole concrete area is really stressful for him because he's not able to get the subcontractors there on time, and a month before they messed up in the construction of that area, and one of the walls collapsed. So that's causing really big headaches for John, and he's stressing out and he's just losing the hair on top of his head because of that. So this is where we come in. We are fluid concrete printing. Our revolutionary technology is going to help John completely solve his problem in an environmentally friendly way. So what is it? I'm sure most of you guys know what a 3D printer is, but in this case we're doing that with concrete. Unlike a normal 3D printer, which is boxed and enclosed in one unit, our 3D printer is going to be a concrete one that's going to function more like a crane and can build entire structures, like wall structures and pillars, on site. So essentially it's going to work like a big crane, where the injected quick-drying concrete is going to pour back and forth. As it develops higher and higher, it's going to move around, expand upwards and laterally. And as it does, eventually it's going to form its own frame, so you won't need framing or any other material like that, and then inject high-density concrete after to really quickly make it the structure. This is extremely environmental friendly because it gets rid of all the excess, the material that you need for the construction, such as the molding and a lot of the water that goes into the concrete, especially with the trucks that come in and all the environmental friendly manner, the problems they cause. It's much faster because the quick drying concrete can quickly build the structures in unique shapes. It's affordable because it can be done at a fraction of the cost because you don't really require that many other people working on the project, just couple of people that are going to be monitoring, supervising the actual printer itself, and it's customizable. Right now there's big problems where you can only build molds that are flat to actually get the concrete in. This allows for custom shapes to be made at a much less cost than ever before.
So currently, the global market has been rapidly growing for clean tech solutions, and the global market is expected to triple to about $3 trillion by 2020. But so far, Canada has been lagging behind because we're considered the third biggest loser in the entire global market. And so there's definitely a demand for us, and we need to measure up. Evidently, the Canadian Trade Commissioning Service has provided us, the country or businesses that are involved in clean technology, about $15 million in order to encourage new entrepreneurs to produce more clean technology. And in BC has updated their green building policy, and Vancouver has also updated their building bylaws. So all of this is basically telling us that there is definitely a demand in Canada, locally, nationally, globally, for our product because it's a clean technology product that minimizes waste. In order for us to make this business happen, in our first year, we will be purchasing a standard 3D printer from China, and once it arrives, we will be modifying it by designing different features to cater to our purpose. We will design it that would hire a contractor within Canada to help us add that to our 3D printer. We will be hiring 2 operators to help us with the on-site operations and an engineer that can also help us with the operations, an engineer that helps us with the operations as well. And we in order for us to get business, we will be using grassroots marketing. We'll be meeting with contractors in person, telling them about the benefits of our product. We'll meet with government reps to try to get business from them for their infrastructures all over the city. And we will also be using basic marketing like building our website and referring and requesting for testimonials back on the website to encourage other potential users or contractors. We will also invest in some social media just to get some exposure, and then we will also go to a few trade shows just to get ourselves out there. And hopefully we can get at least 10 projects for the first year. In the second year, depending on how we do, we will adjust our marketing strategies, and we will also purchase a second printer to increase production. And we will also, in order for the printer, for the operations to continue, we'll be hiring 2 more operators to help us with that. In the third year, we'll be looking to build a customized 3D printer that caters that builds smaller structures, structures that are also more detailed and are luxury, detailed and more customizable designs, basically. Because in the third year, we will be targeting homeowners that are looking to do renovations, maybe luxury homes that have more detailed designs. And we will also be increasing our marketing as well. Yes.
Question, the first printer you buy, what market are you, like what buildings are you targeting to build?
Right, so the first, so the first printer that's going to buy, there are basic printers that are starting with concrete out in China. So we're going to, once we buy it, we have to really modify it. So that's where I have the expertise because I've worked in an engineering firm in the past. So the nozzle and the piping has been modified. And with that, we can start building wall structures, barriers around the townhouses areas, or anything like that, and even pillars. The initial pillars that you see inside of houses, a lot of people really like custom pillars, and right now you can't really do that. Like for example, if you want to spiral with the shape, that's really expensive to do, to get a mold and then inject with that kind of a mold structure. This allows on-site, so that's going to be the key kind of smaller markets that we're going to initially start with, and as we progress later on, and we modify our printer more, and we get expertise behind that with the engineering that we're going to be hiring, we can expand more into interior proper wall structures and henceforth.
Have those modifications been done before elsewhere, or are you the first company that's really doing this and owning that process?
Yeah. So for the modifications, for example, the nozzle and inside of the piping, that's custom designed by us. And the rest, the actual 3D printer right now, they're very basic. They can only build linear stuff with it. So the design of actually having it rotate and make really circular shapes and stuff, right now that's really the customization that we're going to have, that we have actually designed earlier in the past and actually worked and have the full design frame, so we know exactly which ones to take and how to modify it. That's why we have the engineering and R&D aspect of it. And the nozzles, so we're going to have like a polyurethane interior of the piping, make sure caking doesn't occur, because that's a big issue with the current printers, is that the sediment deposits actually start to harden within the concrete printer itself. So we want to make sure that's not happening. And so that's the main thing. And same thing with the nozzle, we want to make sure it runs at high pressure, because right now the ones that are making, they bubble up quite a bit, because they're injecting kind of through the air into the area. So when they operate at high pressure, you're not going to have those bubbles occurring within the concrete itself. So those are the kind of modifications that we've done a lot of background research on, and make sure that when we buy the printer, we're able to implement it.
And have you guys done any research on the safety side of things? Because I mean, in traditional building, concrete is rebar to reinforce walls and that kind of stuff. But if you guys are talking about a 3D printer and put dry and cement, I'm assuming, I know molds, I'm assuming you're needing a rebar too?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to explain the whole structure. So we have 2 types of concrete grades that are going to be printing whenever it does print any structure. So the quick drying ones is essentially going to be creating the mold and the structure itself. So it's going to go back and forth and kind of create like a frame inside of it. That's going to be really quickly done. It's going to change up the type of concrete it makes, injects in. That's going to be the really high dense one, like wood inside. So yeah, so think of it kind of like ballistic glass that has kind of plastic coating on each side. So this way, like if earthquakes occur or anything like that. The quick dry is actually somewhat flexible, while the high dense one can hold a lot of pressure, but it's usually brittle. Like we know concrete will crack. The quick dry one will keep itself in place, while the high density one will be able to kind of take the weight of the structure.
Is this accepted in the building code?
Yeah. So
So I can answer that one. So it's we have a part here. We have to deal with that a bit. How the building codes work. The main restriction is foundations aren't able to be done by a 3D printer yet, but it's relatively open in other ways. And so actually in our year 3, that's when we were focusing on those smaller projects, and that's where we really started doing well on small back decks, decorative pieces, more of that style. And so although it's structural for building houses, we also have that other side that's building those less structurally needed to be less structurally sound projects.
In terms of, it says it's $25 per square foot on average.
Yeah.
What was that comparable to what construction companies are doing?
Yeah, so it depends on the project, and that's our average price depending on what kind of project we're doing, and it changes throughout the years a little bit. But it's about $125 per square foot for a normal construction job, and so it's significantly cheaper. Because ours is limited, we aren't building a whole range of concrete yet. That's why that's significantly lower. And so that plays into our competitive advantage there. We can build it faster, cheaper, and greener than the other one, than everyone else. So speaking of money, let's move on to my favorite part, and hopefully soon to be your favorite part. We're asking for $750,000. We're treating it as a convertible note initially here, 10% discount, 25% discount on Series A, as you can see. And this we found to be a good risk and return mix for the stage that our company is in. The 2 milestones we want to reach with this. We want to reach 40 annual projects and 2 operating concrete printers. So as Deborah mentioned before in the implementation, be a 2-year, 2-3, we're getting that second printer and start to customize our own. And then 40 annual projects is where we're shooting for about 100 projects in year 3, but 40 is where year 2 is.
Do you find a project as one of those landscaping kind of more decorative pieces, or is a project a foundation?
So project pretty wide. We treat it as a pretty wide term, but it can come to anything that we do. So that's why the $25 was the average. It was kind of the middle. There'll be some less. It'll depend on 4 factors, and I'll move on. I can show you here. So depending on complexity, distance, size, and concrete grade. So depending on the project, if it's very complex, it'll cost more, obviously, and then distance. If you have to travel a long way to build this project, it's going to be more expensive to do that as well. And then size and concrete grade. Depending on the project, we might need a different type of concrete for weather, the type of structure, etc. Then the size of the project, of course, is going to be a different price for a mansion versus a backyard structure. And so then those lead into our $2,000 consultation fee. So because of all these factors, we need to deal with it before we start doing the project. So we need to find out how complex it is, how far we can do, the size of it, and then we can give them a quote on on the exact square foot fee that we're charging them.
So you're gonna charge someone $2,000 just to do a quote?
Yeah, so that'll be a quote. So it may be adjusted depending on in the first year to see how the reaction is to it, to defer that payment to later. But initially, yeah, because of how complex the project may be, we have to figure that out for them as well. We also work really close with the contractors, and so their project that they send to us and what they want us to do for them. We need to know the details of that so we can adjust the machine using CAD to design it correctly for them. So because of the complexity at the start, we need to have that fee upfront, but it's open to change if we have to.
So of course, there's no business that doesn't have any challenges. The challenges that we predict that we might have is that one of our parts of the 3D printer might fail us. So in order to mitigate against this, we will be getting our engineer to check the efficiency of all the parts of the 3D printer regularly. So if we see that there's an inefficient part, we can pre-order that part from China at a cheaper rate. And the second potential challenge that we might have is also that our suppliers, our concrete suppliers and other raw materials might be a little bit unreliable. So we will be partnering with the CRMCA for them to provide us with a list of reliable suppliers, so we never fall into that problem. And then for, of course, a technology like this is out of the status quo. Most contractors are comfortable building their structures the way that they've always done it. So it's going to be a challenge to convince them to try something different, especially when there's safety involved, as you stated. So we would focus on changing the status quo by, first of all, targeting the contractors and convincing them to get us to their business. So when we're able to get that business, other markets like individual homeowners, the military will be more convinced, because contractors, which are the primary users of builders, they'll be convinced to do business with us.
You don't think $25 a square foot is convincing enough? No, I'm serious. I don't care about John, whether he's pulling his hair out anymore. $25 a square foot talks.
Right.
It is convincing because we bring a lot of value to their business for the contractors, because we're saving them so much time.
Exactly, but you're talking about as if it's gonna be hard to convince them.
We hope not.
And I was thinking the numbers should speak for themselves.
Yeah, of course we hope not. But just if that happens, here's how we can target this with Deborah's covering. Yeah.
Yes, and the reason why we say it might be a little difficult to convince them is because most people, whenever they do things a certain way, they get comfortable with that method. So coming up with this and saying that we can build an entire structure, a building that is so heavily regulated, and saying that we can do it with a 3D printer is something that will be incredibly difficult to challenge and convince them. We need a lot of proof and support from them to be able to get this business going. So that's where I'm coming from, but our revenue model is pretty solid and easy for them to get onto. And also with that, if they have a little challenge, if they're unwilling to do business with us, we can offer that we build maybe decorative pieces like the pillars, or we could do like sidewalks, little things like that, just to convince them, because those things don't have as much safety regulations compared to actual walls and all of that. So that's how we can get them to feel confident about our business. And then the last one is the building codes. Because Canada, the government already has building codes for contractors, we would have to, BC and Vancouver are adjusting and updating their policies in their codes, so we can get in there and try to get them to understand that this is a new technology that they have to consider while designing the new codes, and that should work in our benefit.
Can you tell us a little bit about the leadership team? Like our incubator only has so much space in it, and we really want to work with early stage companies that have teams that can execute. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Absolutely. So, three of us, we have roles in the company in the sense that Prashant will be the guy that deals with the actual production of the design of the 3D printer and how it works, the operation of it. Eric will be dealing with the finances, the general operations, the accounting, everything for our beginning stages until we have enough money to hire supporting help or other staff. And then I will deal with the sales part of it. I'll do the grassroots work, meeting with the contractors, getting them to understand the value of our product, talking to the people that come for visit our booth at trade shows, putting up the social media, getting the website up and going, and getting convincing the contractors that we're able to convince to do business with us, to leave testimonials on our website. Because when other contractors go and see that other contractors have used us, they feel more confident to do business with us. So I think the three of us, including an engineer, would be a solid start for a team before we can make enough money to hire more staff.
What's your competitive advantage here, and how do you defend that as more entrants come into this space?
Yeah, and so initially it's the early mover advantage that we have. It's not widespread that this is being done. So with that, we want to build the brand while we have that advantage. We want to build the brand so we can defend that a bit, as well as the relationships we build along the way. We want to be able to defend that, and of course, because we'll have potentially have more printers and more efficiencies built through processes and the like. We'll be able to have that efficiency, have that little bit of economies of scale started when others try to enter. So there are some companies outside of Canada that do it, that compete in it. But we find that with that first moving ranch, we can ride that until we can defend it with more trouble. And as well, our 3rd-year plan there has our custom built printer for us. So we can notice changes in the market, what people are demanding, what people are wanting, and adjust faster to it than anybody else can.
So have you guys done any research on how you're going to go about, or have you started talking to the municipalities and the districts and changing the building codes? Because that can take a long process, so how have you factored that into your business?
Yeah. So it's so we don't want to be changing. We don't want to be lobbying government in our first 2 years, but we want to more influence, be a part of it, be a part of the decision, and be able to influence those, because things seem to be changing, and as well as the overall environment moving towards green tech like this. We hope we can leverage that a bit to be able to change certain things. But we can operate without those without restrictions. Right now we can still operate without those. More of just something that's in the future that might happen, that we want to be ready for. We want to be in those rooms making those decisions.
So you have to focus on smaller projects.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I just want to quickly take you to the moonshot too. I want to see where the potential is for this technology far in the future. For example, we know that the military usually has very expensive, they're expanding or need to go to a new region and want to quickly build something. So this technology is really a revolutionary way of very cost effectively being able to do that. We want to eventually expand into the US as well, where there's a big housing market and can really go there. One of the key things I personally think is really big on this is direct disaster relief zones. So once we get validation from contractors here, this technology can really revolutionize how we take it to disaster relief zones where there's earthquakes or hurricanes and the entire city shut down. So working with nonprofits and governments in that area to quickly build a structure of, for example, on-site hospitals or water refrigeration systems or electrical units, that's really, really big and key and can really take Canada to a whole new level. We're already known for being very kind and helpful around the world, but this really pushes that limit on there. Yeah, so going back to it, let's talk about John. So where is he at now? So if he was using our services, he would be completely relaxed with it, because he would be completely knowing that we're taking care of the entire concrete system, and it's going to be done in a fraction of the time. So he would get his project done on time. A lot of times, projects don't happen, even on this campus, we know that. It's taking forever to get the new building opened up, and a lot of times, the concrete structures makes buildings look like prisons, and we don't want that either. So we want to make completely good-looking projects to come out. So John would have a really big brand with that. He would be making a lot of money, and maybe hopefully even early retirement. He's buying himself a beach house in Maui and just chilling it out. So that's really kind of where we want to see John and other contractors that use our services go. So with that, we're asking for that $750,000 to really take Canada to the next level in shaping tomorrow, and seeing where we can take Canada and its image to a new level in the